The night was unusually quiet, as if the world itself had paused to take a breath. The train glided smoothly out of Euston Station, its motion a soft hum against the silence. Inside Coach B, warm amber light spilled gently across the seats, reflecting off the windows and casting fleeting shadows. Most compartments were empty, save for 2 passengers sitting side by side at the far end. Elena sat by the window, her deep maroon coat snug around her, the collar turned up against the chill. Her dark hair spilled over her shoulders like a waterfall of silk, catching the soft light as she gazed out at the night. London had become too loud for her heart. She needed to get away, even if just for a few hours. The train to Manchester felt like an escape route from a life that had quietly crumbled beneath her. Just before departure, a man took the seat beside her. No words, no questions, just quiet. Elena turned her head slightly and stole a glance. He was striking in a subtle, shadowed way, tall, broad-shouldered, his jaw defined, and eyes that seemed to look through the world rather than at it. He wore a dark grey coat, simple but elegant, and his presence had a quiet gravity to it, like the kind of man who didn't speak unless it mattered. Elena was drawn in almost instantly. "Hi," she said softly, her voice slicing through the silence like a violin note. He turned, his face partially shadowed, eyes locking with hers. "Hi." There was something about his tone, calm, grounded, neither dismissive nor eager. A man used to silence. "Long trip?" she asked. "Manchester," he replied. "Same," she said, turning slightly toward him. "Midnight train to nowhere." "Somewhere," he corrected, a hint of something unreadable flickering in his expression. People don't take night trains without reason. Either they're running from something or toward something. She tilted her head. "Which one are you?" He hesitated, then replied, "Both." Elena's lips curved into a faint smile. She liked that answer more than she should have. "I'm Elena." "Liam." He extended a hand. She took it. His handshake was firm, warm, deliberate. She noted the slight calluses on his palm. A man who worked with his hands, or at least had once. The train sped through the city outskirts, the lights of London fading behind them, swallowed by the vast darkness of the countryside. "So, Liam," she said, her voice light but curious, "what are you running from?" He glanced at her, the corner of his mouth twitching. "That's a bold question for a stranger on a train." "Maybe I'm bold," she replied. He nodded, eyes scanning her as if making a silent assessment. "You seem like someone who's been through things." Still standing. She liked that he didn't ask dumb questions. She liked that he seemed to see her. They sat in thoughtful silence for a while. The kind of silence that wasn't awkward, but expectant. Then, he spoke. "My brother passed away last week," he said simply. "We hadn't spoken in 10 years. We fought. He died before we could fix it." Elena blinked, caught off guard by the sudden vulnerability. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "He left me a letter," Liam went on, his voice steady. "Said he forgave me. That he understood why I did what I did. I wish I could say I understood it too." "What did you do?" "I walked away." Just that. And yet it carried more weight than a whole story. Elena's throat tightened. "My mother died 6 months ago," she said. "We hadn't spoken for 3 years. I moved out. Needed space. And when I finally tried to reach out, it was too late." Liam looked at her, really looked. "You regret it?" "Every day," she said, barely above a whisper. "I still hear her in the house. Still smell her perfume on the curtains. Grief is a sneaky thing." He nodded. Silence becomes its own kind of torture. They sat there in the flickering shadows of the carriage, strangers bound by loss. "Were you too close?" she asked after a moment. "Very," Liam said. "He was my protector, my teacher, my friend." "What happened between you?" He hesitated. Then, "We both fell in love with the same woman." Elena's eyebrows lifted slightly. "She picked me, but I always knew it broke something in him. We tried to pretend it didn't matter, but resentment grew. And when she left me, he couldn't forgive me. Not for winning. Not even after I lost." "That's..." Elena breathed. Complicated. We are all complicated, he said. But some stories are just doomed. She turned back to the window, watching trees blur into darkness. I loved someone too, she said finally. Thought it was real. Thought we had forever. Then I found out he'd been cheating. 4 months. Liam's expression didn't change, but his eyes softened. Liam reached into his coat pocket and handed her a folded piece of paper. Open it after I leave. Before she could reply, he turned and stepped off the train, his figure swallowed by the shadows of the platform. Elena sat frozen. Then, slowly, she unfolded the note. In clean, steady handwriting it read, If you ever find yourself near Notting Hill, there's a small cafe on Portobello Road called Serafini's. I go there every Friday at 4 p.m. Order the hazelnut latte. I'll know. A tear slipped down her cheek before she could stop it. The train began to move again, carrying her forward. But her heart stayed behind, somewhere on a quiet platform in the London night, where two strangers had found each other, and maybe, just maybe, a second chance. I trashed the flat, Elena admitted. Threw plates, screamed like a madwoman. The worst part wasn't the betrayal. It was how normal he looked when he lied. Like it cost him nothing. I know that look, Liam murmured. Like watching a storm behind glass. But, she continued, I still loved him. Even after. That's the cruel thing about love, he said. It doesn't obey logic. A gentle smile tugged at her lips. You always talk like that. Like what? Like every sentence carries history. Liam shrugged. Maybe I've lived too long in my own head. I like it, she said quietly. For a while, they didn't speak. Just shared the space, the sound of the train, and the occasional flicker of city lights. Elena reached into her bag and pulled out a small silver flask. She held it up. Whiskey. Want some? He considered it for a moment, then nodded. She took a sip, passed it to him. He drank, then handed it back without a word. You ever believe people meet for a reason? She asked. Sometimes, he said. Sometimes it's fate. Other times, just coincidence that feels meaningful. But you don't really believe that, do you? Liam turned to face her, his expression serious. I believe that pain recognizes pain. And maybe healing does too. Elena felt the truth of it settle deep inside her. What do you believe in? He asked her. She thought about it. I believe two broken people on a quiet train can still matter to each other, even if only for one night. That sounds like hope. It is. The train slowed. The lights of a small station flickered ahead. The conductor's voice crackled over the speakers. Liam stood up. This is my stop, he said. Elena blinked. You're getting off here. I have to clear out the house. He left it to me. Something inside her resisted. She wasn't ready to say goodbye. Not yet. Maybe we'll meet again. She offered, her voice tentative.